and this is our performance, The Tragedy of Systemic Prejudice, an observation of Dred Scott v. Sanford. I've been researching history and the effects that historical events have on our current society for as long as I can remember. After all that time used for tireless research and sleepless nights, I've learned about one moment in the history of the United States that changed the course of American history in an unfathomable way. The continuous United States of America are synonymous with liberty and justice for all, and have been since the American Revolution. As a country, it has been an ideal that all people are created equal, and if injustice ever takes away those rights, it is the responsibility of the citizens of the United States to stand up against such presence of inequality. The people of the United States have had to test that ideal when there was discrimination and hatred plaguing the nation. One such example is that of Dred Scott v. Sanford, a landmark Supreme Court case that changed the course of history for the United States. But in order to completely understand such a landmark in history, one must learn of Dred Scott's beginnings as a slave in America. I hope we're getting plenty of work done out here, because it's like we're getting out of here pretty damn soon.
Well, how come, Mr. Blow?
Well, you see, I'm moving up to St. Louis to retire. Looks like I'm moving up to St. Louis to retire, and I'm bringing you with.
What's that mean for you?
Well, it means that you're coming with. I'm telling you when we get there. Now you get back to work, you hear? And I don't want you slacking off no more.
I'll take it for 600.
I ain't gonna sell them for less than $650.
Got yourself a deal. You can tell him to meet me by the signpost so you don't see me when he gets here. Where am I going?
You see that man next to there, over that there signpost? That's where you're going. You there. You go on now and get your stuff packed. I'm heading up to Wisconsin Territory just north here, up in Fort Snelling.
You're moving again? Well, I moved here 6 years ago.
Don't you badmouth me now. You see, I'm an army surgeon and I go where I gotta do business. Okay? Now you get your damn stuff packed. Well, we're finally here. Ports now. Looks like you're gonna have to get used to this place because I'm thinking we're gonna stay here a while. Hey there, you must be new.
Yeah.
Can't see your face around here more often.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. My owner moved up here from Illinois. I tell you, the life of a slave ain't a life I want to live.
Ain't that the truth? Hey, my name's Harry Robinson.
Dred Scott.
Say, you're a pretty nice guy. I hope we can get to talking more often.
Mrs. Robinson. We've been together a while now, and I've been meaning to ask. You'd take me to be your husband.
I'll gladly be your wife.
I'm very grateful for your acceptance in our marriage, Harriet.
It saddens me that our marriage won't be recognized by the authority for being slaves.
Why must we be slaves in free territory?
It's our owners. They simply have the authority over us.
This life will be hard, but we'll have each other.
Well, it's looking like I'm off back to Missouri. Now,
Am I going with?
don't look like it, but I'll be back after some time.
Just while we release stand a man along with the chains.
You getting plenty of work done out here?
Oh, you see, man, that's what I've been meaning to ask you about. I've been saving money for a long time now. I was hoping I could buy me and my family out of here.
Well, first off, my name is Miss Emerson. And second off, it ain't up for negotiation.
Well, I can't let this be my family's future. I'll be taking legal action.
Well, that's some mighty fine talk for a slave. Now, I said it once, I'll say it again. You don't have the authority to buy yourself out of this kind of place.
We'll have to quote be the judge of that.
As accounts of this story began to obtain national attention with differing viewpoints of it driving division into the nation, the court case itself was becoming gradually complicated and divisive. Several obstructions within the history of this court case had arisen between Dred Scott's decision of legal proceeding and the introduction of the court case to the Supreme Court. In that lapse of time, there were two unsuccessful court cases which were assigned to the Missouri State Court in St. Louis. The multiple replacements of Dred Scott's lawyers and the ownership of Dred Scott being given to Irene Emerson's brother, John F.A. Sanford, who became a defendant of the case. Although the court case had faced these obstacles, it come to a greatly significant climax in its progression. The court case was given to the Supreme Court, which could drastically change what the case meant. It was no longer about the freedom of a family as much as it was whether or not African Americans were rightful citizens. It was in the hands of the Supreme Court to determine the future of the United States. Court is in session. The court will now decide in favor of the plaintiff in error, Dred Scott, or defendant, John F.A. Sanford. We, the jury, find defendant John F.A. Sanford not guilty of the alleged charges. The deciding factor was 7-2 in favor of John F.A. Sanford. What Dred Scott's master might lawfully do with Dred Scott in the free state of Illinois, every other master may lawfully do with any other one, or 1,000 slaves in Illinois, or in any other free state. They, the blacks, had no rights which the white man was bound to respect. They, slaves and their descendants, are not included, and are not intended to be included under the word citizens in the Constitution, and can therefore claim none of the rights and privileges which that court provides for and secures to citizens of the United States. Court is dismissed.
The Supreme Court has kept me from my freedom.
the outcome, although unjust, was one to be expected. It was a triumphant victory for the rich white man, but a tragic loss for the common slave. The United States was faced with the division that it sparked. The Civil War began only 4 years later, and the 14th Amendment declaring African Americans to be rightful citizens. Despite the charges that the court case had on our country, giving justice and triumph for those without, Dred Scott v. Sanford earned its reputation in history as a great tragedy of systemic prejudice. This moment in history is a perfect example of how the goal in learning about such events is to understand that a society must overcome discrimination and fear in order to progress and achieve a single step towards peace and acceptance.